Hey guys, welcome to a very special TV review here on the channel. Today we are going to be looking at the USA Network series, Monk. Monk is a drama-comedy detective series that originally aired on CBS before being moved to USA Network and lasted for 8 seasons between 2002 and 2009. It was created by series showrunner Andy Breckman and follows the story of Adrian Monk, a former police detective from San Francisco who, after the mysterious death of his wife Trudy by a car bombing, goes on a 12-year manhunt to search for her killer and understand the mystery behind the mysterious bombing, all while he is working as a private consultant for the San Francisco PD and goes through various crimes while also having to deal with his own OCD and all his different phobias. Guys, I'll say right up front that Monk was one of my favorite shows as a kid. I watched this all the time with my parents, and being somebody that grew up with shows such as Murder, She Wrote, Diagnosis Murder, Matlock, all these different shows that I would watch with my parents, Monk set itself apart from all the rest and was just such a fun show that I got into around the 4th season and watched it until its conclusion in 2009, and I had such a blast watching that show back then that I was really excited to go back and watch it, and rewatching it yet again, I am not surprised, but this is one of my absolute favorite shows of all time. And a lot of that has to do with the main character himself, Adrian Monk, who is a lovable, annoying, and terrible, terrible person. But there's such a likability to him that makes him so engaging and so lovable, dealing with so many things, OCD and everything. He has all these different phobias that make him extremely eccentric, different, and it makes for a very different cop show that puts together drama and comedy so well that makes it such a fun show to sit down and watch. You can enjoy it for the drama, the comedy, or just the mystery itself, and the mysteries are often pretty good. I love a good mystery show when it allows you time to try to figure out things along the way, and I had a lot of fun in this show trying to figure out the many mysteries that Monk tries to solve. Sometimes they threw me through a loop too, which was a lot of fun, especially when I thought I was right and I ended up being wrong. But back to the character of Monk, and specifically what makes this character work, and that is Tony Shalhoub's Emmy award-winning performance. I love this guy. Tony Shalhoub is Monk, and he makes this character what he is, and is so great in this role, and really makes the show just so much better. Without Tony Shalhoub in this role, I don't know if the show would work half as well. And also, it has a great supporting cast of characters and great actors. Ted Levine playing Captain Stottlemyre. You have the character of Randy Disher, a bumbling idiot with a heart of gold. You have Monk's many assistants, Sharona Fleming, Natalie Teeger. You have these great moments where Monk is visiting his psychiatrist, Dr. Kroger, and then eventually Dr. Bell. And those are some of my favorite moments of this series, where Monk is just sitting down in a room talking about his problems and working through things, and I think it's just such a great thing. But at the heart of this show, we do have the story of a person that has become completely broken by a traumatic event in his life, and he is trying his best to fix it, because the heart of this show is Monk trying to figure out who killed his wife, which is the one crime that he never solved. And I think it's really something that pushes you through this show to get to the very end, to figure out who did it in the end. And I think it's done really wonderfully. I love the character development in this show with Adrian, with Natalie, with Captain Stottlemyre in particular, especially in the first couple of seasons. The captain has some baggage with his ex-wife that is wonderfully done. And also something I love in this show is there's many layers to this show. We have, of course, the regular day-to-day escapades of, going through these different crimes that Monk has to solve. But also, on top of that, we have the overarching story of Monk trying to figure out who killed his wife, while also dealing with different layers with different characters, their family lives, specifically with Monk, who has a very distant relationship with his family, such as with his brother, who is basically stuck in his house and won't leave, and also with his relationship with his father, who's very distant with, who left him at a young age, and it's just wonderful stuff, and the drama in this show is always engaging, and there are some very impactful episodes in this show, but it never steers too far away from the comedy of the show as well, which is really good most of the time. Sometimes the comedy can be a little lackluster, sometimes Monk does some things that will annoy the crap out of you, but I still say that I still love this character, even when he does just some of the most annoying things possible. It's still a great character, it's a great role, and it's a great performance. Also, something this show does really well is its celebrity cameos. There are some great celebrity cameos in this show, from Willie Nelson to Snoop Dogg to Sean Astin to many, many others, and they always are involved in the crime in some way or are a big part of the show, and they're always fun. They leave an impact with you that other shows that do celebrity cameos don't really do, and I think that is really great for this show. However, that said, Monk isn't without its flaws. I mean, I absolutely love this show. This is one of my favorite shows of all time, but it still has problems along the way, and actually one of my biggest problems with this show has to do with the mystery surrounding Trudy's death. It is very inconsistent, and you can tell throughout the show that the series creators and the writers didn't really know where to go with this storyline. I don't think they really had a set plan from the beginning of how they were going to solve this, because there are many inconsistencies between what characters did, where they were during the event, and all this different stuff, that it becomes very muddled and inconsistent near the very end. Also, the show doesn't spend enough time with these particular revelations, because you'll have a revelation or something like early on in the show, and then you'll have like 4 seasons of nothing, and then you just get hit with a bomb of, a revelation, and then it really doesn't start tying up until the final 2 episodes, which is really disappointing in a lot of ways. I really wish that they had spread this out a little better with little nuggets here and there throughout the show, but I still think overall things end up very satisfying and are really well done. As I said, you're really here for the characters and the different crimes that Monk has to solve, but that overarching story has a lot of problems to it. And also, there's some problems with character development. There are moments in this show where characters are really built up early on in the show and then are kind of dropped off to the wayside. They don't have any character development after a certain point until near the end, where they rush in some stuff, and that's very prevalent with characters such as Captain Stottlemyre and Randy Disher, who really lack character development after about season 4 or 5. And that's something with this show too. It lasted for 8 seasons, and perhaps it just lasted for a bit too long. Maybe 6 seasons, but 8 seasons at that point, you really see the show beginning to tire and wear out and stop really coming up with new and inventive ways with storytelling. But it is still a fun show nonetheless. You really begin to see by about season 4, 5, and 6 that the show really starts to settle into its formula and doesn't really do anything new with it aside for the occasional two-parter or big reveal that happens. But overall, guys, I think Monk is an absolute blast of a show. It is funny, it is witty, it is very engaging with great, fantastic characters that you will grow to love. They will infuriate you sometimes, but they are always lovable. The acting is absolutely superb in this show. The mysteries are fun to solve and pick apart. And the overarching story, though muddled at times, really keeps you watching because you want to see Monk succeed. And I just absolutely love this show, guys. It is emotionally fulfilling for me. It is just a great show to sit down, binge, watch. There's many marathons of it on USA. It's a very popular show that I don't see talked about very much. Before Walking Dead, this was the biggest drama show on television. This was a big show. It got awards. It was just a lot of fun, guys, and I really wanted to sit down and talk about it with you guys and celebrate this awesome show since I finally finished it after a long rewatch, and I could sit down and watch this show again, honestly. It's that fun. Anyway, guys, with all that said, I'm going to give Monk an 8 out of 10. Well, guys, I want to thank you for watching this review. I hope you enjoyed it. I was really looking forward to talking about the show after watching it, and it was just a blast to sit down and watch and revisit these characters that I love so much. Now, if you're a fan of Psych, I say check out Monk. It is from the same cloth, basically. If Psych is Parks and Rec, then Monk is the original Office. There are many similarities to the shows, but they are both very different and both really fun. But anyway, guys, that's all I got for you. So as always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next review.